Welcome to installing and setting up R and RStudio. To get to find R software, go to the CRAN website, which is the Comprehensive R Archive Network. There are links for downloading this for Mac and Windows. You want to download the base R software to install it for the first time. Next, we're also going to download R tools, which is helpful to have if you're building your own R packages. You don't have to download this. This is optional, but it is a useful thing to have. To get to RStudio, just Google RStudio, click on the Download RStudio button, and you're going to download one of the installers for a supported platform, like Windows, Mac, and other flavors of Unix. So now we have all three of these files ready to go. First, we're going to install R. You can just accept the defaults. And it'll take a minute to install. Click Finish. If you click and run R, here's some examples. So when the R console opens, you can begin typing in commands. Created a sequence of numbers, take a function of those numbers, and then plot them. So this is an example of what the R console looks like once it's installed and running. We'll exit out of that. And next, let's install RStudio. Again, just accept the defaults. Once it's installed, it's helpful to actually pin the application to your taskbar so that you have ready access to RStudio. So we're going to pin that to our taskbar. Once it's there, you can just click on the RStudio icon to start and run RStudio. When you first open RStudio, you get the console window. We have to actually open a script window to type in the commands like we did before in the plain R program window. Once you've got the commands typed in, you highlight them and click Run. Next, we're going to create a file in RMarkdown, which is an annotated file. The first time you do this, you're going to have to install additional packages. Just say yes and install all of those packages. Those are required for RMarkdown to actually work and run. It'll take a couple of minutes to install these packages. Once that's done, It'll open up the RMarkdown wizard. Go ahead and give your document a title. Put in your name as author. And we're going to start with the default output format for HTML. It gives you a template with some data, or with some text already in it. We're actually going to take that R code that we used before and we're going to insert it. To insert it into an R Markdown document, we're going to add a new heading, and then we will insert an R code chunk. This is where we can actually type in the R commands. These are now embedded inside the document that we've created. You click the little C that says Insert Code Chunk, and then between the lines type in the R code. We can add some additional information here in our document. To do this, we're going to update the code slightly and use the sequence function to generate the numbers from 1 to 10 in units at 0.1. Once we're inside the code chunk, we can actually run segments of the code so that we can actually test and make sure that what we just typed will work. So I'm highlighting each line and clicking Run. It's just running one line of code at a time so that we can test to see that it's actually working. So now that my R code has been tested, I can go ahead and knit the document. This actually converts it into an HTML file. We have to go to File Name, click Save, and it will actually generate that document now in HTML. So you've now created your first R Markdown document for the web. There are other options like knit to PDF. However, the first time you do this, it's not going to work. In order for this to work, to knit to PDF, there's additional packages that you need. We actually need the way to knit this to PDF with using additional add-ons. We'll show you that in a minute. The knit to Word, however, does work. So if you click knit to Word, now instead of an HTML document, you've generated a Microsoft Word document. And we can print that or save it. In the Tools menu of RStudio, under Options, if you click on the sleeve, this is where you can tell it that you want to use Knitter, and we're going to format it into PDF, it has to actually use a latex converter. So there's another piece of software that we have to go get in order for this to work. So you'll notice when we click Knit to PDF, the error message that we get says it cannot find PDF latex. So we have to actually go get the program that runs and converts to PDF LaTeX. The piece of software that we're going to need is called MiKTeX. But you can type in PDF LaTeX in Google. There's a Stack Exchange article about this. It says, where do you go and get this? So the links to the distribution pages are the MiKTeX project page and TechLive. I recommend the MiKTeX project page. From here, if you click on download, it'll give you the information about how to download the program. We're going to use the recommended download, but there are other options. Feel free to pick the one that's correct for your system. So we're going to use the recommended download. Note that this installer does assume you're connected to the internet. which means if there are things that are needed on the fly, it may require you to be connected to the internet to get the updates. Once MiKTeX is downloaded, we need to install it. This installation will take a few minutes. Again, accept the defaults. There is one thing, it automatically defaults to A4 paper. You may want to change that to letter. I'm going to have it where it asks me first for installing packages on the fly. You can change that if you like. Again, there are a lot of files that have to download, so this may take a few minutes. For purposes of the video, we're actually going to skip ahead. Now that that's installed, we can see where it is on our hard drive. You see there's now a PDF tech folder. That's where the PDF LaTeX exists. So now when we run RStudio, we should be able to knit to PDF. So we're going to try the RMarkdown again. The first time this runs after installing MiKTeX, it's going to ask you that it needs to update certain packages. Since I told it to ask me first, it's going to ask me each time. However, eventually I can deselect the option that says ask me first before this dialog. So if I turn that off, then it'll just install everything else it needs. So I'm going to turn that off. Now when I click install, it'll just go ahead and install all of those packages. This takes a minute, but assuming everything works, then you should get a PDF document. Thank you. Hopefully you've now got everything up and running for RStudio and MiKTeX to be able to knit to PDF. Thank you.